The new Superman movie is coming, and speculation on social media has exploded. However, the impact hasn't been entirely positive, or so it seems. A first review, published by an official outlet, trashed the film and was pulled for violating the embargo before release. But even though it's no longer available to readers, the damage was done. Combined with the reactions from YouTubers and influencers, many of them based on that same review and other close sources of the kind, this led to a drop in projected box office numbers for opening weekend, despite Warner Brothers' massive marketing push to promote the film. Amid the chaos caused by this clash of opinions and narratives, I'll try to shed some light on the matter for anyone seeking clarity and perspective. I've only seen the trailers, and from this first impression, it's clear this movie targets a younger audience. I understand that many potential viewers, people over 30 or even much older, might expect a Superman tailored for an adult audience, darker, more grounded. But perhaps it's time for that audience who've been watching superhero movies for decades now to realize this film isn't meant for them, but for a new generation. In other words, these heroes don't belong to them. They belong to everyone, especially to those in formative years, which these guys I'm talking about should have outgrown by now, though it's clear many haven't, and that's part of the problem. I find it hilarious to hear guys like Neurotic, DJ Cobra, Shannon Brooks, Disparu, Epic Mike, Black Garrett, AC or Babyface or whatever his name is, Mauler, or the Critical Drinker, and the Angry Badger, the Echo Chamberlain, whoever, or celebrities like Ben Shapiro, all ranting against the movie they haven't even seen. The truth is, they're looking for reasons to hate it, even while claiming they want it to be good and successful. It's obvious they pour all their mental energy, what little they might have at such an early stage of cognitive development, into finding ways to tear it down. The worst part is they're not even expressing their own voice. They're just echoing the mainstream media that's trying to destroy the film and prevent audiences from enjoying or connecting with the Superman who stands apart from the leftist feminist agenda. In doing so, these guys, who usually seem to be on the side of the fans, end up acting like puppets influenced by a power they don't even recognize, spreading the most senseless and childish criticisms. They say things like, it looks ridiculous, or there are too many special effects, or there are too many characters showing up. But all that to me sounds like a fantasy film packed with entertainment. What's wrong with any of that if you're going to watch a Superman movie? I laughed hearing them complain about the electric guitar version of Sean Williams' score, calling it too much, as if it was too daring. What are they? Elderly ladies? Is it too loud for their ears? They get scandalized over something unusual like a remake or reboot keeping a musical connection to its origins. Come on, calm down. I mean, wow. For instance, I heard this guy called Mauler respond to criticism for judging a movie in such a negative way before seeing it. His defense was, why think positively about something you haven't seen either? That's a top tier dumb sophism. That's a fruit of a pessimistic, worn out mindset that contributes nothing and fails to grasp the optimism of hoping something might be good rather than terrible. I mean, hoping for something to be good? What's wrong with that? What's the point in expecting it to be bad? Doing that means you just want to play ahead and beyond any surprise while you're just a terrified child not wanting to be toyed with. Grow up, guys. Seriously, dude? You thought that was a valid point? My condolences to your judgment, man. In the end, to me, it's astonishing how people who claim to be, or at least show signs of being on the right side of a political spectrum, fail to recognize the subtext of what they're watching, and end up reinforcing the very narratives of their ideological opponents. But I guess that's what misplaced emotions and lack of awareness do. They trick you into becoming exactly what you never wanted to be, the villain, your own worst enemy. Criticism at its best means finding beauty where the average eye doesn't see it and sharing that with others. It's not about pointing out flaws, but about creating contrast and offering better alternatives. These individuals, using the platforms to spread confusion, should be seen for what they are: overgrown kids who don't get that this Superman film wasn't made for them. It doesn't aim to please their pseudo-intellectual egos, the same egos that praise movies like Prey. Really? Prey? A movie where the predator just picks fights randomly and is more like a brawler instead of showing skill as a stealthy, cunning hunter? And yet they dare to criticize something else afterwards? I'm not exactly a fan of James Gunn movies. I barely enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy and wouldn't rewatch it. I hardly touched the second because it was just more of the same and I didn't care about the first one in first place. And I didn't even bother with the third part. Still watching the trailer for this new Superman, two things stand out right away. Visually, it looks new. Something never seen before in terms of how it's shot. And it's clearly a film for the inner child, not for a jaded crowd who have developed sarcasm, cynicism, and bitterness as armor against the world that made them feel stupid once and now think destroying things makes them seem intelligent, tearing everything down to match the wreckage inside themselves, just like a comic book villain. I mean, come on guys, cheer up! Are you seriously talking about Superman fatigue and feeling tired before watching it just because there have been a lot of promotional trailers? Maybe try watching fewer trailers. Maybe understand marketing is designed to reach a broad audience, not just die-hard fans who already plan to go see it. Most people will only catch one trailer or glimpse. They don't live and breathe this stuff like you guys do. You get it? And this group of so-called or acting as, posing as critics, often just loud voices trying to sound devastating, they are basically angry kids who revel in seeing things fail as much as they understand failure themselves. They dig for flaws in everything they dislike. Ironically, this same crowd once showed real sharpness and used their talent effectively when the enemy was clearly vile, like when The Rings of Power came out, especially while it was in production, or in the cultural war against wokeism. They were a necessary voice of opposition against that abrasive wave of forced uniformity. Whether I agreed with them or not, it was great to hear someone saying something different from the usual mindless parroting of the mainstream media. But now they're becoming exactly that and doing exactly the same, just like an extension of that mainstream media. Like samurai without a master, since woke progressivism has lost momentum, and productions have stopped being only and directly brainwashing pamphlets without any effort to bring any entertainment value, these guys seem lost, attacking anything that catches attention, like corrupt running. They criticize everything just to keep gaining followers and likes. That's when you see how ruthless people can be when their only goal is notoriety, building a fan base, monetizing opinions, and such. They become mercenaries, attacking whatever might bring them moral or financial gain. They cling to the thrill of feeling smarter than they actually are, and do so at the cost of robbing others of a chance to form their own impressions. And they're so smart that they can't see this new Superman is clearly a film for all audiences. It's clearly geared to younger viewers, but it doesn't exclude adults who want to feel like kids again for a couple of hours. And I can't think of a better reason to watch this movie than remembering old times and having a good time to remember later on. If I could have things my way, I'd prefer a reinvention of the character with more sophistication, something more adult, with symbolic layers and complex dilemmas. Exactly the kind of challenges someone so powerful would need. I'd love to see a super powerful alien who relates to humanity and wants to do good, but discovers his actions are meaningless in the face of a species stuck in mental stagnation and dogma. That would genuinely appeal to me and make me want to watch it no matter what. But I'm not opposed to being carried by what it's being offered. I can adapt, that's why I'm a grown-up. The key is to understand the tone of what you're watching. I don't expect a horror movie to make me laugh or to be scared watching a comedy. It all depends on whether the comedy is funny or the horror creates tension. And it's crystal clear from the Superman trailer that this is a superhero movie, with all the traits a comic book should have. Do I think it's too much that there is a superpowered dog? Of course not. Are there too many characters and visual effects? Sounds amazing. When I was a kid and read comics, the more characters appeared, the more important the story felt. It was like a star-studded cast gathering for one epic story, giving the whole thing a sense of grandeur. What this trailer shows is a sharp contrast with recent years, where superhero movies lack the action and fun, weighed down by boring meta messages and political agendas. This one instead seems to prioritize escapism and enjoyment. And the same people who cheered for Spider-Man No Way Home and celebrated Avengers Endgame now call this one absurd and unbelievable? Come on, guys, make up your minds. Try to realize in time that you are too attached to hate, too afraid of being tricked, too resentful, too hungry for admiration. Turn around before you fall completely into the grip of the dark side. I hope this Superman movie is entertaining. And honestly, I already appreciate that it shows a heterosexual relationship. White characters, blue eyes, and does so without shame. That's what real diversity looks like. A world that has movies like Sinners, as well as others where the main cast doesn't have to be ethnically diverse. True diversity is having everything, not enforcing uniformity under the disguise of tolerance. The color palette and art direction are, to say the least, uncommon. It's refreshing to see visuals that are easily recognizable and do not mimic the overused aesthetic we've seen 1,000 times. And from the small bit of dialogue I heard in the scene where Lois Lane interviews Superman, the dramatic tension seems well handled, which is already more than I expected. But what I really want to highlight is the use of such innovative camera technique, which makes the visual experience feel unlike anything else. Cinema has the power to show us what we haven't seen before and what we wouldn't see in any other way, and in that sense, this movie clearly promises something unique. That alone makes it worth seeing in a theater, enjoying the collective experience, letting yourself be surprised at least with some visual candy. And if it does more than that, if it helps adults reconnect with their inner child and introduces new generations to values like honesty, truth, and heroism through such a beloved character, then all the better.